deserve the hand clap. I have been watching and listening very keenly for the last 2 to 3 days and learning immensely from our trainers or facilitators, but also from participants in this room. This room is full of wisdom. I think the best of Uganda is all collected under this roof and has been for the last 2 to 3 days. Now, I did have a speech prepared for me for this afternoon. And when I opened the speech, because it wasn't written by me, I saw too much English in that speech. And then I decided that, you know, I need to connect with these people. And I'm not a man of too much English. And so too much English is not going to help me connect with the 40-something youth from the 4 to 5 districts across northern Uganda and our wonderful partners who have endured the heat of Pakwach to be with us for the last few days. And so instead of reading from some script, I would love to just speak to this room. I would love to interact with people, and I would love to ask questions. I would also love to take some questions from you if you have them. My name is Dennis Patto. On day one, I told you that I also work for Virginia Corp. I didn't tell you specifically what I do. I prefer to refer to myself as the errand boy here at Virginia Corp. Some of my team members also refer to me that way. Errand boy because I run a lot of errands here. Dennis do this, Dennis take this there, Dennis sign here, Dennis go there, Dennis see so and so. So I am the chief errand boy of Virginia Corp. Some other people call me different things. Others call me the team leader. Others call me the executive director. But when you meet me on the street of Pakwach, of Pader, of Gulu, Arua, or wherever, just say, hey, errand boy of Vijana, please stop. I want to say good afternoon to you. And I will be more than elated to stop and interact with you. Now, that said, I would like us now to start this interaction. And my first question is going to be one that some of you might find weird. Just so you know, I am able to see you all. Clinton, just spotlight for me the left screen so that I can see people's faces properly. I'm waiting to get your faces a bit closer. Please spotlight the left screen, yeah, the left one. Thank you so much. It's been done, Clinton. So I can see the whole room and I see most participants by face, which is why I feel very comfortable running this session as an interactive one. So my first question is, by show of hands, before you came for this engagement, before you came for this workshop, how many people experienced sleeping hungry anytime, any period of time in the last 1 to 3 weeks? How many people in this room slept hungry in the last 1 to 3 weeks? Put up your hand. Don't be embarrassed. How many people might have slept hungry in the last 1 month?
Might.
No one wants to be seen to be the only one putting up their hand. Eh? At least Annette slept hungry. Yeah. How many people might have relatives who might have slept hungry in the last 1 to 4 weeks? You put up your hand. Almost the whole room. How many people live in How many people come from villages where there is no electricity? Electricity has not yet reached your village. You put your hand. Again, most of the room. How many people come from villages where there's no tap water, piped water?
Piped water.
If there's no tap water in your village, put up your hand. Only a few people? You guys are lucky.
No, this other side.
I want to assume that the ones who have put up their hands are the ones from Wadalai only. Because those of us from Wadalai, we happen to be not so lucky. Anyway, the reason I'm asking these questions, and there's many more of such questions that I would have asked, is because these are some of the tenets, these are some of the pointers of the issues that you've been dealing with in the course of this week, the past 3 to 4 days. These are some of the issues that sit at the heart of the poverty we keep talking about, the marginalization that we keep talking about, the social injustice that we refer to when we say that our work as Virginia Corp, our work as NUCSOG, is to address entrenched causes of poverty and social injustice across northern Uganda and Uganda at large. When you talk poverty, when you talk about marginalization, when you talk about poverty, you're talking about the effects of the things that make us or our people suffer from the different places that we come from. That's poverty. And some of their symptoms is you sleep hungry against your wish. You're not able to drink clean, safe, hygienic water, not because you don't want to, but because it's not available to you. If you come from any sub-county in Pakwach, you're not able to voice up against things that you are not comfortable with. Why? Because you have been socialized in your community to get comfortable with the thought that you cannot speak against government. That is the narrative that we hear time and again for people who come from communities in Pakwach and the Greater Nebi district. I don't know about those from other parts of the country, but one of the things that has devastated me the most about my home is that some community leaders, some district leaders, and even some partners in development have bought the threat, the narrative that you cannot speak about the ills of bad governance, because then you would be speaking against government, and it is a sin to speak against government. It is my sincere hope that the last 3 days have opened your eyes otherwise. That the last 3 days, Jackson and Annette have helped you through the processes that you've been engaged in to see that it is no sin at all to speak against evil. That it is no sin at all to help government to extend to us the services that we need. That it is no sin at all to recognize evil in our communities and design messages and campaigns that help to address them. And so in reaching out to you as NUCSOG and as Virginia Corp, we are saying that there's a lot of work cut out ahead of us, which we cannot do alone. We need you, all 42 something of you in this room. We need each and every one of you. So by extending these 3 days of engagement with you, we were not just looking to burn money. We were looking to sow a seed that will hopefully empower you enough, that will give you the language and the agency to work with us as we put it at Virginia Corp, to work with us on this journey where we are trying to facilitate a movement of over 10,000 youth, 10,000 social justice leaders, who for the next 4 years, it was 5, but 1 is now finished, will be helping us to advance a development agenda towards access to equal opportunities and active participation, especially for the last mile youth like you and me. And so since we launched our strategy exactly 1 year ago, we made 1 year today of the implementation of our new strategy. Feel free to clap for us, please. So today marked the first year, the end of the first year of the implementation of our strategy, which was launched on the 31st of March last year. Now, in that strategy, which will be made digitally available to those of you who have given us your email addresses and WhatsApp numbers, we have work well cut out. And so even when we engage with the other members of the NUCSOG Alliance, ARID, COBRA, AREWA, and Action Alliance, and now IST, and the others who will be coming on board, even when we engage with them, we are drawing from the work that we have cut out for the next 5 years with you across Uganda. And this work was not drawn from the comfort of our rooms. We came to you in 2020. We came to communities in Pakwach. We went to Nebi. We went to Zombo. Then we came back to Mukono, where I'm sitting right now. We went to Mbale. We went southwestern Uganda in Kisoro to seek out voices of people like you who are sitting in the room right now on the question of what is our place as youth in this country? What is our place when it comes to participation? And what is standing in our way currently? And so today, when we come back to Kalalo Hall to say we want 15 youth from Pakwach, we want a certain number from Arua, we want a certain number from Gulu and Pader and so on, what we are saying is it is not achievable with one hand. We need all hands on deck. We need everybody. And I love that through your engagements, through some of the assignments that you have been doing, especially the ones of this afternoon, some of the issues at the heart of the things we are working for kept coming out. And I was reading messages from Annette, who is sitting here, that there's a lot of follow-up that is going to be needed, that we need to cast our net wider. We need to work even more closely with this group. We need to go even beyond this group and bring in the room many others. And if this was open for discussion, what I would say is, no, we don't need to go everywhere. We need to start with the ones in this room and make them our fishers of men. Because what would be the point in bringing you in this room for the last 3 days, and then we are still going to your communities where you came from to mobilize more people, and yet you yourselves are there. You've been here for the last 3 days so that you become our extensions. You become our feet, our hands. You become our eyes and our ears. And then you become a button on our devices so that by the click of that button, you are readily available to engage with us further, to advise us, to point us where we ought to go, not necessarily where we want to go. I assure you, without you who are in this room, there is no NUCSOG. Because all the work that NUCSOG wants to do with youth is premised on the theory, on the assumption that there is enough youth who are available to work with us. Without you who are in this room, there is no Virginia Corp. because the very foundation of Virginia Corp was drawn on the assumption of youth who are living in poverty, marginalization, and social injustice. And so my call to you this afternoon is that you are the organization that we have brought to work with you. The rest of it that you hear, the rest of it that you see in branding is just formality. You are the Virginia Corp. If you know the meaning of Virginia Corp, Virginia means youth. Then Corp, which is C-O-R-P-S, means a body that is working together for a common purpose. So now you can fill in the blanks. Virginia Corp simply means youth who have united, who have put their hands together to work for a common purpose. So now you see what I mean, that without you, this organization that you think is brick and mortar does not exist. We are because of you. And everywhere we go, everywhere we talk about Virginia Corp, there is no pride in our hearts if you, your stories, these things that you have been presenting today, yesterday, and the first day, if we cannot draw those examples as definitions of the work that we have to do, then there's nothing that we can talk about. And yet the real work actually has to be done by you. And the real work is what you do after you have left Kalalo, after you've left Pakwach to go back to Wadalai, to go back to Arua, to go back to Pader, to go back to Gulu. The work that you do with the knowledge that you have got, with the experience that you have got, with the networks you have created, is what counts the most. That is what matters. And that is what, that's how it is stated in our vision, or in the expounding of our vision. Our vision as Virginia Corp is an enlightened, empowered, and engaged youth. Where under enlightenment, we are saying it is our mandate to facilitate processes, platforms, and extend tools to you and make safe spaces like these ones available to you so that you have access to information, timely, relevant, and accurate information. So the enlightenment aspect is for our effort to help you get to know all that which you need to know in order to be able to engage the duty bearers that Ben was talking about. You cannot engage the duty bearers, and some of them may be sitting in this room with us today. You cannot be able to engage them productively from a point of ignorance. You need to get to know. And I'm glad that the conversation around getting to know was had elaborately and in a very rich way over the last 3 days, where we were talking about the knowledge gap, our knowledge gap in terms of the different policies and laws. So we have work to do together. Ours is to make those materials available to you, to make those platforms for engagement available to you. But the real work of what to do with it is yours. Which brings me to the second part, empowered. That when we have extended information to you, now you know, and therefore you are empowered with knowledge. What do you do with it? What do you get to do with the knowledge that you have got? That is what empowerment means to us. You are not empowered until you are able to do something with the knowledge you have acquired. And the last part is engaged. Now, you got to know. You got to do. Under engagement, we are saying that, look, you're not creating any significance if you are acting in silos, if you are acting as an individual. You need to be part of something that is bigger than you as an individual. And this is why we are saying, as Virginia Corp, we are only facilitating a process. When we extend those tools to you, when we extend the platforms, when we extend the safe spaces, all we are doing is facilitating a process that gets you engaged, that gets you to be a part of that which is bigger than you as an individual, that gets you to extend your collective effort, that gets all of us to roll our hands on the table, to roll ourselves into one big ball that the oppressor cannot stop if it comes to that. One of the gaps in this country is the gap of knowledge among people like you and me, that the real power actually lies with us. The real power is not in the gunpowder. The real power is not in the suits that some of our duty bearers wear in parliament and in places. The real power is not in those super fancy, powerful offices where they sit. The real power lies with you and me. And so you might ask yourself, if the real power truly lies with you and me, why is it that our power is not that powerful? It is actually powerful. We just don't know how to harness it. We just don't know how to put it together so that it is irresistible. Again, it is part of that reason that we thought the last 3 days would be helpful to you in understanding where to start, in understanding how 1 + 1 can be more than 2, in understanding how to be powerful without being violent. Ladies and gentlemen, I started by asking you how many in this room have slept hungry in the last 3 days. Our stories are not very different. If you were born in Uganda, if you spent the first 10 years of your life in some village in Uganda, then the questions that I asked at the beginning are not very strange questions. And those are the questions that motivated the beginning of Virginia Corp as an organization, because for some of us, those questions are personal. For some of us, those questions formed our story in growing up in this country. Some of us, the work that we do, the work of social justice that we are so deeply entrenched in, is very personal. Why? Because the wounds of social injustice, the wounds of poverty, whether self-inflicted or not, the wounds of marginalization are engraved in our hearts. And so we have sold ourselves to the work of correcting the wrong, to the work of enabling those who are younger than us, those who are yet to be born, and even those who might be slightly ahead of us. We have sold ourselves to giving them the tools, the supportive platforms and safe spaces to be able to fight back against poverty, social injustice, and marginalization. And with that, I would like to welcome you to the league of those who are bold enough to take up the mantle to do that, to lift the weight of that work. I would like to congratulate you upon the last 3 days, and I would like to thank our partners once again, ARID, COBRA, AREWA, and IST, and then Action Alliance, who I believe are all in the room. I thank you so much for your generosity in terms of time, money, and knowledge that you have all contributed immensely to put the last 3 days together so that we as Vijana work together with you to then deliver it to these wonderful people who are sitting in the room. I thank you so much, and God bless you all. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much.
Um, Annette, I think you might have mentioned to Clinton that some people might have wanted to ask me questions, generally about Virginia Corp or about this training, or I don't know. I think I'm available for another few minutes to take questions if there are any.
There's just a challenge that someone wrote, but I think we can address that a bit later. As Vijana will think about it. There's this note. Rogers had an issue.
But that was specifically for the TP side, not directed to him.
Okay.
I believe for this case is kind of a need of any question you want to direct to him, such that he can answer about 2 or 3 for the meantime. If they are there, we deal with them now. If they are not there, you consult via our different platforms for the different questions you have about Vijana, about this training, or any other thing out of this training.
Are we still processing the message? We may still be processing the message. Dennis talks, and you can feel the passion in the voice. You can feel the pain as well. So probably we are still processing the message. Thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you, Vijana team, for being part of this. It's not easy to be online. The whole day listening to a conversation you cannot contribute to. Yeah, so thank you so much. Also to the team here, thank you. I want, Dennis, before you go, there is someone that I want that they see you properly. This young lady, even the last time we were here in Papua, she was here. And she attended with her doctor. Son. Yeah? Very peaceful child. She attended the whole 3 days of training. And she has been attending. I want us to appreciate her in a special way as Vijana. And I also want us, people here, to appreciate her because it's not easy. The next people I want to appreciate, Clarence, you can have a seat. I want to appreciate the people who have sat in this room for the last 3 days and have not moved. So clap for all of us. And to Jackson. Jackson also speaks like Dennis. There's a lot of passion and bigger. So thank you, everyone. We've come to the end, but there's one thing that I want us to go home with. There's an email that I wrote right there. Probably I'll write another. Jackson, who has written his email, kindly write those stories of social change. Send them through those emails. When we read them, we will respond to them. We will ask questions and probably we will support. Don't go out of this room without our emails, our contacts. This is the only way we will keep engaging with everyone. Thank you so much. Yes, Jackson has something to say to you, Dennis.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Dennis. I thought it would be very unjust for me to leave here without making this statement. For a long time, I was losing the passion and the energy in social movement. Until when I met with you again, and I want to, at this point in time, register my sincere thanks because the team of Annette and the group, they have rekindled my passion in social movement. And as you have always known, are more aggressive than probably what they have seen here in 1 or 2 days. And in every move, you can see my aggressiveness in social movement is building. And to that, with the passion that you have exhibited in your speech this evening, I can promise you that, like in Ontario, where I went to the university, where I said it's yours to discover. I think we are just beginning to rediscover our strength in social movement. And please, thank you so much. The team that you have, Virginia Corp is so lucky to have them. They're passionate about it. And the errand boy, keep doing your errands. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've come to the end of this. Defender is going to take us away with an energizer. But yeah, for coach team, you see Anita, the rest of us, we go to Libya. Defender.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I, for one, don't have no much to put forward, but I've been noticing, I don't know if someone else also has this observation in mind, that out of the social population we have inside here, ever since Monday up to now, someone has just introduced Igbo herself, only up to now. So up to now, that person is the one I need here to give us the energizer. Can we identify that person? Monday.